being yourself is normal. Like you can come out to whoever you want to come out. You can you don't get discriminated based on the color of your skin, by the new belief, by your religion.
Hello and welcome to Idioms of Normality on Future Frame TV, the collective podcast series of Traces&Dreams. I'm your host, Paul Mason, and I'm joined today by writer and director Mragendra Singh.
Thanks for having me.
And
it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Before we jump in, you've got quite an interesting career. Before becoming a writer-director, you were an engineer, and you've just launched a movie called Normal. Tell me, what experiences brought you to writing and directing a film called Normal?
Wow, that's like the whole history lesson of my life in like 5 minutes, right? Yeah. Going back from the very beginning, born in a city called Bhopal. I'm from Bhopal, and it's the capital of the state called MP. And while I was growing up, actually, like all Indians, we love cinema. We grew up in Bollywood. We watched, we have parallel cinema, we have regional cinema. So, like, movies are in our blood, basically. Like, I remember early conversation with, even if we don't connect with somebody, we connected over cinema. So that was always there. And I didn't know I was a storyteller until I think I was 12 or 13 when I somehow, it's funny because I somehow made like a flip book animation thing just by drawing it. And I was like, yeah, this is good. But I didn't know any outlet for it because like I'm from, at that point, the opportunities were there. Like everybody's a doctor, engineer, or some government job, So it's like, I thought engineering would be fine. It's like not a passion, but I was not bad at it. So I was like, let's do that. Let's do this. And I became an engineer. I got a job in India, but then I quit that and I went for master's in the States. Then I was working in Silicon Valley. That's when it hit me. It's like, I still don't feel fulfilled, like you live like a whole career and all that, and you have to do something and of course, like in the whole constant I was writing, I was telling stories like in different formats. And then I was like, yeah, but like, I don't necessarily see myself as an actor. Because that was, people like, oh, because in our head, like being in films is like being an actor. I was like, I don't see myself as an actor, more of a creator. So I just started filming stuff. And I showed up at like at a children's TV show in San Jose, California as a PA. And I was there for 8 weeks. And in 8 weeks, that became my film school. And after those eight weekends, because I used to work my day job in 5 days, and then the 2 days in the weekend I would go there. And I was like, no, I really like this. I need to figure out how to do this. And from that because then I quit my job, moved to LA, found another job, quit that job. I hired some big like commercial projects here and there, and then finally I was like, I have a script, I want to make it. I mean, I wrote other scripts. One was in development, one was this and that. So like I got into the whole rigmarole of development hell basically, and then I got frustrated with that, and I was like, I'm just gonna write something I can make. And as I was in an interracial relationship, it always in my mind like, oh, what if this happened? What if that happens? And like we think of the worst, and that became the seed for Normal actually, and the story became an interracial couple after having a child. They lose intimacy, and they're trying to find their normal by dealing with trials, tribulations, and temptations of life. I mean, I wrote the script in 15 days, developed it for like 6 months, and then funny enough, our production schedule was also 14 days. So, and then we finished the film. We opened in Los Angeles Vision Pacific Film Festival. And as fate has it, normal actually ended up happening in my life. I'm currently separated with my wife, and we have a dog. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like life imitates art. So yeah, so that's how it became. And I'm still working on like other projects, and I'm here. I'm actually not at home. I'm in Chicago, promote like attending a film festival called Chicago South Asian Film Festival, promoting my another short called "There's No Other Way to Do This." And and yeah, this year has been like pretty good in terms of traveling, and that has been my normal so far. Like taking my film to festivals, watching it with people, getting their feedback on the film, and seeing on a screen. And because our movie is going to play different in every screen, and you see like also as filmmakers we are very close. Like we want our projects to be here. So like this is like now in the world, and people see it, and some people relate to it, some people don't, some people like it, some people hate it, but it's a part of the life, and that's like great. So yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm really sorry to hear about the personal challenges in your life, and I can see that this film in particular would be very close to your heart, given the content of the film, which is a beautiful concept about a couple who have a child, and then their intimacy changes. And this is an interesting quote for me, that they want to go back to normal. And in the trailers and some of the promotional material for the film, I've seen that some of the people who are in the film and or involved in the film are answering the question, "What is normal?" And which is really fun. It's interesting to see different people from different walks of life all coming to the table and saying, "Oh, you know what my normal is," and I saw that you answered the question too, and saying that my normal is people getting my name wrong. And and I certainly hope I got it correct.
Yeah, you got it correct. Yeah, it's funny because the other day, someone being interviewed here for my short, I was promoting it, and it never happens. Like an interviewer was like, "Oh, so my name is this," and she said it exactly correct, And I was like, "Where are you from?" And she told me she's from the northern part of India. I was like, "That's why." And it's like it's funny because when I hear my name correctly now, it's also like throws me up with tizzy. You know, it's like, "Oh, is this?" Yeah. Actually, a funny anecdote I'm going to share. Any party I go to, if a person is interested in me and find me worth any salt, they will put an effort to learn my name. And they're like, "Oh, I'm Bob, I'm Chris. What's your name again?" And I'll say my name, cuckoo, and then just walk away. And that's what I know, like, it's like their personal engagement. If somebody's actually interested in you, or somebody's not. So that's a litmus test there.
Do you get nicknames?
I actually chose not to have a nickname because I was also like stubborn for that reason. I was like, you know what? Because I put effort to learn people's names. I actually remember people's names. Like I also remember every time like where we had met.
Wow.
The first time, and their names and these kind of things, because it's like I can't. I'm genuinely also I'm an artist, right? So my job is observe and remember and put for memory and all of that. So that plays a very important role in my process also.
I wish I had your memory. But let me kick off, because I'd like to ask. I've seen the promotional film material for the film. I've seen the trailer, which is beautiful, and I'm familiar with the idea that this couple is being their normal has been disrupted, and so in a wider context, a context maybe a little bit wider than the film, and engaging with the diversity of normals that can be out there. What is normal?
So yeah, everybody has their own normal. That was something so funny to me because I was on a shoot, and I was working with this colleague of mine. And this was, I think we just shot the film, or we were about to shoot it, something like that. I don't remember what it was, but she asked the name of the movie. I asked, "It's normal." And it's like, "Oh, it's boring." And I was like, "What?" As an immigrant, moved to States, I'm looking for my normalcy. Like, whatever the status I'm looking for, that will become the normal, So everybody has different normal. Like, and as part of our film promotion, we started doing this "what is your normal" thingy on Instagram where I like ask all my friends and colleagues to come and just send like a 30-second snippet of what is normal to them. And that just like, and funny enough, like people actually came and then they talked about a lot of different things, and this is like so empowering. We're still going for it actually, and we're like waiting for other folks to send some stuff because it was, yeah, it's like wow, like people share their life stories about what's their normal is very grounding actually, to be honest.
Lovely. And I mean, Mragendra, I feel like you've stolen my idea because, that's kind of the whole series of Idioms of Normality is asking people what is normal and hey, I'm just kidding. But it is such an interesting question, isn't it? Because it does change purpose, and it is an interesting entry point into someone's life. And the one thing that you've achieved that I haven't been able to achieve is you get people to come out of their shell and share what normal means on a personal level, and I think that's really special.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because there was a French, I think it was a philosopher or theorist who stood in the metro in France like 50, 60 years ago. Sometimes I forget we're in 2020, so it could have been even longer. Oh, yeah. And he just had a camera and a microphone, and he was asking people as they were getting off the metro, what is happiness? And each person he was asking what is happiness and having a conversation with people who would stop and chat with him about what happiness is. And it's interesting because the question of the moment, I think really, particularly since COVID, is what is normal, because we want to go back to normal. And in the context of many people's lives, it's interesting that normal is often a very privileged position to be in. Having an uninterrupted life is actually really difficult. I heard a beautiful quote that once someone becomes a parent, they will never not be a parent again. And that topic in the film where this couple become parents, and then they gain this new form of intimacy in their lives with this newborn child, but then lose the intimacy in their interpersonal relationship. Possibly happens with a lot of people. And wanting to go back to normal really does raise the question, what does that mean?
So in our context, and especially in the context of the film, these two people were wanted to have the same kind of spark that they had before, which was lost. Because as a screenwriter, as a filmmaker, we have to know the objective, what we are going after, right? They're gonna get it or not, that's a different thing. But like the objective is always gonna be there. And I remember there was a time in my life when I had no worry. I was happy as a clown. I was protected. I had my family, and then at one point it changed. I still have my family. Like I'm talking about like when I was a kid, right? So at one point it changed, and I think it's called adolescence, when you start seeing the world for what it is rather than like the magical place we think it is. And it's kind of a nihilistic view about it. but I still want to be that carefree at some point. I still want to have the comfort, It's just it's this comfort, the warmth of the family, and I felt I could do anything in that time. And I was very privileged in that sense because coming from India, having a roof over your head, having books to read, food to eat, going to good schools, having exposure to a lot of things, is really privileged. And I didn't have to see any of the hardships per se. And I think that because of that privilege, I was able to excel to the place where I am now today. And having that comforting shell of my family, I think that's normal. And that's what I was going back for. It's funny because I was doing this exercise the other day. It's like, as one should do. I'm just kidding. It's like, like you reinvent yourself always as an artist, as a person. And I was like, yeah, so what is I'm after? Like I have made a feature now. Of course I want like my career to grow, but like where I'm headed, what kind of stories I'm telling, where is and in those things, and it comes back to it's funny we always get back to it. Like, yeah, I kind of missed that time where I didn't like going to school was optional. I mean, not doing good in studies was like nobody cared like how to didn't study, but I was just like playing, watching things, creating things, and I was a shy kid, but I was not shy with my friends. So all of this stuff, this was kind of cool. I don't want to go back to it in a way. And now since I have a 3-year-old and I'm seeing her grow, it is so cool. Like she owns the place. Like she has nobody in the world. And she is like, and I was like, yeah, I guess. So my new normal is gonna live through her. And not like in a bad way live through her, but like live through her experiences, like what she's doing, how she's taking decisions in her life. I'm pretty hands-off parent in that sense. I mean, simple things. The other day, sorry, I'm a dad who talks about his daughter.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah. So it's like she figured out like she could climb somehow, and then so she went into the bathroom and she climbed on the toilet seat and then climbed on the flush tank and is standing up there. And I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm just sitting in the bedroom. And then she calls my name and I come and then she was like, Dada. And then she was so happy because she was achieved that. I was like, wow, that's great. Now let's get down. And then I walked her down. And then the other day, she did the same thing, but this time she stood on the side table and then she waited for me to come back in the room. As soon as I came back, and she jumped onto the bed. My heart sank, but I was like, I mean, it's safe. It's not bad. But my heart sank. Like, what if she does that? I was like, no, you know what? This is how you're gonna learn. I was like, yeah. And then she did it four or five times, and I was like, keep doing it. It's fun. Let's do it. I'm here. Do what you need to do. I'm here.
It's lovely that you can recognize the need for children to be carefree and to in a safe environment and to provide that comfort, and seeing your face light up talking about your daughter is just lovely. It is interesting how, there's a lot of things that need to be afforded in order to lead a carefree, comfortable life today, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting to think of how easily people's and sometimes had in such a challenging way people's lives can be, that people's sense of normality can be disrupted. For some people, it's as easy as getting their coffee order wrong, at the cafe, and their whole sense of normality is turned on its head. And for other people, it's their country being invaded, or it's normal is out of reach because, and being carefree is out of reach because of the unaffordability of normal. And I don't know what the situation is like for you, but also sometimes the unaffordability of a father to be a parent as well. If the separation doesn't go well, it can be very difficult for one parent or the other to be involved and to have those moments with their 3-year-old and watch them enjoy jumping on a bed.
I have heard stories, and it's really nasty. Some people have to go through. So far, so good in my case. And we're cordial. And it's for our daughter. So it's like we have to give her the best we could. Like, I mean, that's what my parents did for me. They tried to give me the best childhood I could have, and I can pay it forward. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, Mragendra, I hope everything goes really well with the film. It's a fantastic topic.
Thank you.
My last question for you is, what questions do you think we should ask about normality?
Okay, let's put it this way. Normality, like as everybody knows, it's different for everybody, right? But then there are like some basic things. I feel if we and this is kind of like going back to the whole idea of like idealistic world where certain things are normal, like being yourself is normal. Like you can come out to whoever you want to come out. You don't get discriminated based on the color of your skin, by the new belief, by your religion, and just like by gender,
by your ability,
just exactly all this like inclusive world where it's okay to be yourself. It's so empowering. I feel, and I mean, I've been as a filmmaker, like I'm exposed to so much more than like an average Joe because they're not seeking out this stuff. I'm not saying everybody, but like most people, like if you have interest, and then you can go out in a different direction. Like, but as a filmmaker, I get exposed to a lot of different topics because in a film festival, I'm sitting in a film festival watching a film, and something else comes, and I was like, wow, I had no idea. Like I've watched like 3 or 4 documentaries yesterday, and I was like, whoa, this is like a different look at the same situation. All of these things, and at the core of it, like I feel, I feel that just being yourself anywhere in the world, and you don't have to have this the political tension and stuff. And I know it's like sounds so optimistically idealistic. I don't know, but I feel yeah, that's what everybody should find, that normality where it's okay for people to travel without visas, or they don't have to worry about saying anything, and just like it's a free world where people can like interact and things. And I think that will also help the commerce if you think about it. Let's remove the dogma from everything, and I think that will become normal, because any approach when it becomes dogmatic, it's problematic. That's the way.
It'd be lovely to live in such a carefree and comfortable world. Mragendra Singh,
Yeah.
as I said, all the best with your film, and thank you so much for being a guest on Idioms of Normality.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing me on here. And if people can watch the film normal, please do.